Hey, I'm so happy to be here back. Intimate Conversations with Kittee. I'm going to give you guys just a few moments to join me and pray that everything works out okay because my machine is doing a little crazy something. I wonder if you all can hear that. I think I'm going to get up and try to fix that. Hey, y'all. It's your girl Vanessa from Pink Kitty, certified sexologist and community sexual health resource. And today, today's Friday, April the oops, it's not April. Y'all know it's October. Okay, today is Friday, October the 1st, and I have so many things that I wanted to share with you guys today, but I decided that we're going to talk about something that is relevant and happening currently, that's being debated currently in our community. And when I say our, I mean everybody, but predominantly the Black community is having this conversation. So I thought that I would bring it here. But today, again, it's Intimate Conversations with Pink Kitty. I am your host of the show, certified sexologist and community sexual health resource. My name is Vanessa, and Pink Kitty is your one stop shop for all things related to romance, intimacy, and having great partnership. We do intimacy coaching, we do oral pleasure workshops, we do adult novelty parties, we do public speaking. I'm actually developing a sexual health course for teens at this time. So yeah, I'm here to provide you with all those things related to love, sex, and intimacy. And you can give me a call at 708-406-9690, or you can hit me up on any social media at Pink Kitty. And I'm saying me as if it's just me. We actually host parties all over um, the Midwest, in Indiana, Wisconsin, Ohio, and here in Dallas, Texas. We would have an adult novelty event hosted by me. We are currently, I mean, really, every single time he's just doing the absolute most. Ike, where are you going though? Unreal. So, anywho, um, we're your one-stop shop for all things related to adult novelty, and we can meet any budget from mild to wild. Okay, so we're just gonna get started. The first thing I wanted to talk about was there's this rapper that did an event, Afropunk. Um, this past, I think it was Thursday that she did the event. So I believe it was yesterday. No, it might have been Wednesday. Whenever the Afropunk was, young Tate is her name. Young Tate is her name, and she is a rapper that came out, posting her, post baby body or whatever. And a lot of persons were having like, oh my gosh, she needs to get a Brazilian butt lift, and saying that she should have been hiding that, or she needs to get a tummy tuck. And she came back snapping like, I don't have to do any of that stuff because you have a problem with my body. And now I know we talk about this frequently on Intimate Conversations with Pink Kitty, and I just want to say that we stand behind Young Tate because it's a very sad thing that is the expectation is that we would be hating our bodies, and I don't understand why persons just really want us to hate ourselves. Like, just because you're plus size, or because your eyes sit a different way, or because your teeth aren't straight, or because, you're not you're not in your teens anymore and your titties hang a little bit lower than they used to. Like, this is crazy that we are creating this situation where, the expectation is that everybody needs to look the same. If we were all supposed to look the same, we wouldn't be able to change the way we look. That's just, that's my belief that if we were all supposed to look the same, have the same body type, I think our bodies wouldn't be able to change. Like, it doesn't make sense that the expectation, like, some of us have long booties, some of us have short booties, some of us, I think this guy told me that I was dating in my teens that my butt wasn't exactly flat, but everything hangs at the bottom. So, like, really, it should not be this thing that, when you're okay with going outside with your body, however it is, you know, off the rack, quote unquote, then, it's a problem. Like, why is everybody having this expectation of these fake bodies? I don't understand that. I will never understand it. And again, I know we've talked about this till we're blue in the face, and we're gonna keep talking about it because it keeps being a part of the social discussion. That y'all know how I feel. Like, I go outside and wear my, with however I feel like, whatever I feel like, in whatever state. I'm not going to hide who I am because somebody else has a problem with it. If your issue is with my body and that's the only issue you have for the day, then in my opinion, you're still doing good. Go ahead with your bad self. Okay? Because I freaking love every part of me. Um, I'm grateful that I don't look like what I've been through, but even if I did, I'm gonna still love me in that state, right? Because, that's really what it is. I decided to love me no matter what. I decided to prioritize me no matter what. And so spending time on somebody else's expectation of me, it's just, in my opinion, it's just never going to work. So I stand behind you, young Tate, and I think you should even stop, like, going back and forth with those haters that have been giving you a hard time, because fuck them, girl. You did it, and you gonna keep doing it. So rock out with that. So anyhow, I just really wanted to take a moment to have that conversation because, so the reason that I wanted to talk, well, one of the other reasons I wanted to talk about it is because I am in this group with, most of the persons are in their late 30s, early 40s, and older, right? I'm in this group on Facebook, and I the the group is based off of a podcast, kind of, like Intimate Conversations with Kittee has its own group on Facebook and Clubhouse. And I am in the group, and the person, one of the persons in the group, a woman with children who is, early 40s, posted a picture of a woman who was plus size in a bathing suit standing at a door. And she was like, I mean, it was a meme, but the meme said like three words, and what the person who posted the picture, the meme in the group said was, girl. And I just went, I just really want us to be better. I just really, really want us to be better, especially as women. As women, you know what your body goes through. Like, whether or not you have children, things just move, even with men, but, it's in a different way. Like, things just move, things just shift. And even during your cycle, no matter whether you're 12 or, 60, your body still does something different. So it's not something that happens, as you age. It's something that happens every month, that your body does something different. And so I just feel like, especially when you're a woman, that kind of immaturity and self hate, because that's really where it comes from. Like, you're projecting your insecurities on this other person. You're letting yourself, um, letting yourself be a part of the thing that keeps misogyny going and keeps, young girls, committing suicide or going to different things that make them feel more validated. Like, you're being a part of the problem. And so, for me, it's not just ha ha ha, she shouldn't have said that. It's people handle things differently, and especially right now, like we're all in this pandemic, blah blah blah. I'm not gonna get into it, I promise. But we're all in this pandemic, and we're all experiencing life very differently than we did just 2 years ago. And so, if out of your entire life, at this stage in your life, the best thing you can think of to share with a group of people is a picture of someone else to ridicule them, in my opinion, that says way more about you than it does about the person in the meme that you posted. Do better, sis. Really, do better. So, that's kind of, again, where I stand with that. And every time I see it, I'm going to point it out. So my response was, get it, girl. And then I posted in the same group a body affirmation. And I said, I'm loving me at size sexy with a wish a bitch would complex. So yeah, do it if you want to. I don't have a problem with you posting me because every 3 words going to be, damn, she fine. Hello? Okay. So anyway, thank you for watching Intimate Conversations with Pink Kitty. Again, I am your host, Vanessa Brown, owner and operator of Pink Kitty LLC, your one stop shop for all things adult novelty. And we have everything you need from mild to wild, with adult home parties being based in Illinois, Wisconsin, and Indiana. So, hashtag get you some. So, the next thing we wanted to talk about tonight was the verdict. Finally, the Pied pedophile of R&B has been convicted. Dun, da, da, da. So that's been the debate. A lot of people have uh, voiced, different opinions. My social media presence is prominent on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, like everywhere that I can have Pink Kitty is there because we do that. And the reviews have been, for the most part, my personal pages and obviously my Pink Kitty page has not received a lot of support for him. um most of the persons on my timeline have been consistently saying, this needed to happen, that he needed to be convicted and he needs to get a sentence that suits the crimes, plural, that he has committed. So it's been a few conversations though where people have been still supporting him, or saying that this doesn't make any sense, that those people were lying, and this is a race thing. And I mean, I'm standing in um, I'm standing with you guys saying that our justice system, or the system that is supposed to be called our justice system, sucks. It ain't worth shit. It's very biased. It seems like people that have the most money are the ones that get away with the most stuff, and persons that are impoverished or living close to the poverty line seems to be unfairly prosecuted for crimes that other persons get away with. So yeah, I agree that the justice system really fucking sucks. But in this case, it sucked only because this didn't happen 20 years ago, right? When he first went to court um, for the video that a lot of you guys watched, I never saw it. When he went to court for that video, and was like, that wasn't me, and he had, I think it was 8 counts of pornography, child pornography that he had. The case was about, it wasn't about the statutory rape. Actually, it was about him having child pornography, which clearly he has and still has, because it came up again in this case that he had the child pornography. And the one of the reasons that most of the girls said they stayed was because he was using those tapes, those recordings that he made of them doing sexual things, um, and also like smearing feces on their body. And two of the girls said he made them eat their own feces. Um, and said that if they didn't do it, he would slap them, things like that. Um, that's what kept them, they just couldn't bear the shame of those things. So he still has the child pornography, and even though he was cleared of it 20 years ago. So obviously, I am glad that he was found guilty. I hope that has been clear thus far. I'm very glad that he has been found guilty. And honestly, the persons that are still supporting this person who has already said that he was the Pied Piper of R&B. I mean, the Pied Piper was the person that lured kids away with his music. But for those that are still standing beside him and saying, "Oh, those little fast tail girls," or saying, "Well, they family shouldn't have sold them to him," like I've heard like the most ridiculous things in an attempt to absolve him of being responsible for the actions that he has committed. These same people, though, most of the time have said that they wouldn't leave their children with him. Why is that if you think he's so not guilty? But anyway, again, I was gonna say I'm not knocking anybody for still supporting him, but that's not true. Like I'm judging you for that. Because if you still believe that he is not guilty of any of this stuff, after um, they heard testimony from 50 witnesses, and we've been saying this for like 20 years, and he married Aaliyah after grooming her when she was 12. He groomed her when she was 12. I'm going to say it one more time. He groomed her when she was 12 and married her after he got her pregnant and after he was telling her mother that he was not having sex with her. So he been a pedophile. But he been a pedophile. So even before we get to these 50 persons who testified against him, we still have the fact that he married somebody. And yeah, that was 20 years ago or 30, 25 years ago, or whenever the fuck it was. It still shouldn't have happened and he still should have been prosecuted for it. So he still did it. Okay? So that doesn't, just because you stole my car 15 years ago don't mean the next time I see you I'm not gonna beat your ass if it's 40 years later. Like fuck you thought. So anyway, I was gonna say I was not holding it against people for still supporting him. Now, I'm not saying I still love him. I know it sounds like it's a little hypocritical, but I'm not being hypocritical. I do recognize that this person is a person and that there are people who will love him because he is a person and needing and deserving of love. Like I get that. What the issue that I'm having is with people not understanding that you can love him and he can still be guilty at the same time. You can love him and he can still have done these things and need to, you know, do penance for his crimes, and you can still love him. Like those things are not exclusive of each other. You can do all of those things at the same time. He does still need to be responsible, held accountable for his actions. And now we just got a verdict. We're still waiting for him to be sentenced. His sentence needs to reflect the fact that he has damaged these women. I won't say they're women now, most of them. Um, I won't say irreparably because that sounds a bit much, but the wounds that they have, these emotional and mental and spiritual wounds that they have from their instances with him are lasting. They will last for the rest of their lives. This will be a part of their story for the rest of their lives. So his sentence needs to reflect that. I had an argument a couple of years ago with someone who hung out with him, and they were really upset, saying, "Well, I saw some of these girls, and none of them looked like they were being punished or they were there unwillingly." And what I said to that was, fast tailed girls don't exist without pedophiles, because that's what she called them, fast tailed girls. She was like, I used to be one. I was seeing somebody that was older than me when I was 14 or whatever, whatever age she said. And I was just like, okay, so that person was still foul, right? Right? Like just because you came through that doesn't mean that person was less foul. That person was still foul. That person should not have been with a 14 or whatever your age was, year old girl. And and just, keeping all the way 100, I don't think I know any uh women who have not been sexually assaulted or harassed at least one point in their lives. And I'm not saying like once they turn 25. I mean like when they were teenagers, when they were in elementary school, when they were coming home from school and some old man was going, come over here, little girl, and sit on my lap, or I got some candy, come talk to me, or look at her booty, I can't wait till she get big. Like that shit, I don't know any woman that hasn't happened to. And actually, unfortunately, I know too many men that happened to, that they were sexually assaulted as children. So that shit sits with them for the rest of their lives, no matter what direction their lives go in. So I believe that his conviction, his sentencing should reflect that. And again, for those that still love him, loving him is still one separate thing than still playing his music, than still financially contributing to him being able to appeal this case if that's what happens. Um, Honestly, he knows that he did this, and I think I read something today that said he's ready to snitch. Who you snitching on, dude? This was your house. These were your girlfriends. You did this. Who he snitching on, y'all? I really need to know, like, who was holding him hostage and making him rape and or molest or sexually assault young boys and girls. Who? Who was doing that? Because the persons that I know that were affected by him, uh, it was him. Anyway, the that's my issue. Like I said, at first I wanted to say that I'm not judging you, but I am. It's okay that you still love him, but it's definitely still okay. Loving him means that you hold him accountable. Like I don't love nobody that I won't be like, hey, what you did was really fucked up, and we need to figure out how I can help you to fix this if you want my help. But this is really fucked up, and you did do it, and it needs to be reconciled. That's how it should be. That's how it always should be. That you hold the persons that you love accountable for the things that they do, especially when it hurts someone else. I'm just saying. So if you're not doing that, then you don't know. Then you're not really loving a person. You're an enabler, and that is counterproductive to any relationship with any person. Um, so that's kind of my stance on that. The other thing that I want to say about that is I had a conversation with a male today that said the issue that he had was that these persons waited so long to come forth. And he also said that he felt like it would have been better if they had just come forward when the stuff first happened instead of waiting till the money ran out. And then he also said, that the families of these young girls should also be held accountable. And I have mixed feelings about that. I believe that again, I'm all about everybody being held accountable. So I don't want it to seem like that's not what I'm saying. I want everybody to be held accountable, but that doesn't take away anything from what is happening right now. Like those people need to be held accountable, and this dude needs to go to jail. Like the two aren't again mutually exclusive of each other. And I take issue with I told him this, and I'm saying this to you now. I took issue with him saying that these families shouldn't have did what they did because they knew blah blah blah. As I just stated, I don't know any women that haven't been sexually assaulted or harassed by someone, way before they reached womanhood. Um, and I know that for the most part, men don't hold each other accountable for these things, and women don't hold each other accountable for these things when they know that it's happening. So how you going now be like your boy hit some girl and you didn't check him and be like, dude, that's not something you should be doing, or turn his ass in if he made her injured. But you're talking about how somebody else needs to be held accountable. Like, do your circle first. Because if I don't know any women that haven't been sexually assaulted or harassed, sorry, before they reached womanhood, then that's some of your friends. That's some of your boys. Because y'all act like y'all don't know none of these pedophiles, none of these rapists, none of these domestic violence abusers, but they everywhere. So you know them, and you're not holding them accountable. So to be now trying to hold somebody else to the fire for doing the best they could in whatever situation they had, like, stop that. I mean, again, not saying that they need to walk away. The ones that took the payments, I'm sure that's their cross that they're bearing anyway. Because the fact of the matter is, when you took that settlement, you agreed not to, press charges, when you know that that meant that he was free to do it to somebody else. So there's a level, I'm sure, of guilt that those persons are carrying as well. Or maybe they thought that their person who they love, who, I know the one woman received $220,000, she felt like that was okay. This was just a one time thing. She didn't realize that this man was a serial pedophile, a serial rapist, a serial assaulter. So, she even said that. Like, when I took the money, I thought that this was just what he did to my kid. I didn't realize he was doing that to all these kids, to all these young ladies. And, in my opinion, that means she didn't have a conversation with her daughter, because her daughter would have told her that. So I don't know. Or she's just lying. In which case, hell yeah, she needs to be held accountable. Like, you need to be held accountable. And having to look in the mirror after being a part of that is part of your her penance, I'm sure. Um, the other thing that's tripping me out is, these whataboutisms. What about Bill Cosby? What about Harvey Weinstein? What about Elvis Presley? Um, the person that I was speaking with earlier actually mentioned those people. He mentioned Bill Cosby, he mentioned Elvis Presley, and he mentioned Harvey Weinstein. And he was like, they don't have no documentaries. And I'm like, no, that's not true. There were several stories about Elvis Presley, but those you're not watching them because that's not a part of your circle. There are multiple stories out there. There, matter of fact, what's that chick's name? Rose McGowan did a whole thing on Harvey Weinstein. But again, you're not watching that. That's not your community. So that's why it's being swept under the rug. But if you were watching, if you were looking for those type of things to be happening, then you don't have far to look. Yes, they are. There are documentaries. Yes, they are. There are court cases. Yes, they are still in court. Now, with the Elvis Presley thing, that was before my time, so I can't speak to what was happening then. But I do know that there are several instances where people were like, he had to wait for Lisa. Is it Lisa person? What was his wife's name? Was it Marie? I can't remember what the chick's name is. But there were several instances that I've been seeing that people were like, no, her family allowed it and signed off for him to marry her, blah, blah, blah. So although that's different, it's still the same. He's still a pedophile and disgusting. And, Elvis, he ain't never missed cheese. He a racist, a struggle was simple and plain motherfucking man, John Wayne. That's where I'm at with it anyway. So, bringing him up don't change shit. That dude did what he did, and this dude did what he did. So they all should be held accountable, but one of them did. So back to him. Um, and like I said, my number one issue about this is, when this situation comes up and we're like, oh, thank God he finally got arrested. But unfortunately, it wasn't before he hurt over 50 young girls. Are y'all like paying attention that this ain't even the end of it? This was just those cases. This dude still got two other states worth of cases. That's crazy. that you're still supporting him. That's crazy that you're still like, oh, he didn't do it. Or all these little fast tail girls. But he still got two more states to go through court cases on the same stuff. Come on, man. We can do better than that. And for you to be like, oh, I'm going to still be listening to his music. Well, that's really good for you that you can control your own playlist. Howsoever, when I hear his music, all I hear is little girls crying. I hear that when I think of him. I think of the pain that he's caused. And hopefully, I would love to get to a place where that's not what I think of instantly when I think of him. But unfortunately, that is the situation that he's created. That when I think of him, I think of the people that he's hurt. So, um, if you can use his music to drown out the screams of, little black girls being sexually assaulted, peed on, forced to eat their own feces of the one journalist that he drugged her Chinese food and then raped her. She was an adult. So it's not just kids. He just has no respect for black women. He doesn't value black women. And that is a problem because he claimed that he loved his mother. And I'm sure that he does, but it doesn't honor any woman in his life, not even his daughter, that he's doing this and then trying to appeal the verdict. Like, I think you should accept your penance, do the time that you need to do, and try to be a better person. I mean, because it's a lot. It really is. And nobody's celebrating this. This is not a victory because the pain that he's caused does not go away. The only thing that you can celebrate is that nobody else theoretically will be hurt by him in this manner. And I pray that those victims of his crimes are able to find some peace because I can't imagine what it's like for them to be in these spaces and try to have a regular life and then hearing his songs on the radio for the people that claim that, they still gonna bump it, they still gonna bump them some bump and grind. I mean, it's not a reach. Seems like you ready. Seems like you ready. I mean, real talk. That song in itself was like what's his face? Key Sweat song. I always, even when I was a kid and the song first came out, I had an issue with "You May Be Young, but You Ready." I hated that he said that, and it gave me creepy old man vibes, even when the song first came out. Cause I was just like, where's your head that that's the first thing that, like, the song starts off saying, "You may be young, but you're ready." Like, and then it goes on, ready to learn. So, sir, what? It really gave me creepy old man vibes. Only because ever since I was in sixth grade, I've been, harassed by old ass men talking about my booty, talking about my titties. So it gave me creepy old man vibes. So like I said, when the Q Sweat song was bad, and then his song seems like it really was just way too much. I was like, oh, these dudes is just nasty ass pedophiles, But at that time, I was saying it jokingly, not really knowing that this person really was that. So, like I said, I really just wanted to use some time to get this off my chest because um, as an advocate for sexual victims of survivors, not victims, survivors of sexual assault, and as somebody who is a survivor of sexual assault, um, I had to take the time to speak on this because You have people saying, and I don't want to like rehash things that I've already said, but you have people saying, why didn't they say it back then, or why they waiting so long? And it's like because of what's happening right now, that even though they've been loud and a jury has found him guilty, and there was a documentary, and we know that there were more than 50 victims. People are still saying they lying, they wanted it, they was fast, so that's why it didn't happen right at that time. Because coming forth, even the young boy that came forth just recently, like the situation with him started over 10 years ago. And no, 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 it started over 6 years ago. And he still did not want to come forward. It was that his name kept coming up, and they were like, what is going on? That this boy's name keeps coming up, and we didn't know anything about him. And then it turns out that he was a victim of sexual assault by the pied pedophile of R&B. And so it's horrible. The whole dynamic. It's like, he wasn't even just, he wasn't discriminate. He had sex with men. I mean, with young boys, and had sex with young girls, and he groomed them to do that. He pretended to be, that guy with the candy. And the guy that I was speaking with earlier about it said, well, he got convicted of racketeering. Do you really think he's guilty of that crime? And I'm like, this dude had a whole community of people providing him with opportunity and assisting him in doing this. So absolutely he needs to go to jail for racketeering as well. He took these young persons across state lines, which everybody knows is illegal, or if you don't know, now you know, um, for the purpose of having sex with them. So that's the thing. It's not that you traveled with a team. You took this team across state lines for the purpose of having sex with them. That is illegal. Um, the other thing is, there was one of the security detail that said that he admitted to setting fire to somebody's car. They pinged his phone in this area. Like, there's no, I didn't do this shit. There is no, I didn't know about this shit. There is no, I thought she was 18. There is none of that. This dude purposely did this shit. And I think I shared this before. One of the things that triggered me about um, the pedophile of R&B is when I was 13, I was at the schoolyard at school, 8th grade, and there was this guy that was walking around the schoolyard with his beatbox, but I don't think we called it that. I don't think we called it beatbox. But anyway, he was carrying this big ass radio. And he was one of the best dancers in our little community or whatever. So I was like, oh my goodness, he dancing. And everybody was. So it wasn't like me. It was like, everybody gathered around him or whatever. And then after he was done dancing and we were all like, woo, 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 he was like, can I walk you home? I'm like, oh my God. He was like the celebrity for me because I'm a young girl. This guy is like really popular. He was dancing at the factory at the weekends. Like, all chicks was throwing themselves at the dances because that was the shit we was doing back then. And he asked me, could he walk me home? He was walking me home. He told me he was 21, and again, I was 13, and he was at the schoolyard with persons who are in grades no higher than me. And after he walked me home that day, he tried to kiss me, and he was, oh, you're my girlfriend now. So, I'm not trying to pretend like I didn't know, like I wanted to be his girlfriend because I was geeked. This guy was like the local celebrity, and I was excited that he wanted my attention. We never engaged in sexual intercourse, but definitely did things that were completely inappropriate for a person who was 21 to be, sneaking around with somebody that's 13. I did not tell my dad. I grew up in a strict Jehovah's Witness household, which if you've watched any of my podcasts, you already know this. I did not tell my dad about this, but when my dad found out, oh yeah, he went off. He went to the boy house, talked to his mama, and was like, if I see you around my daughter again, blah blah blah. He did everything in his power to keep us away from each other, which of course made me go sneak to be with this guy. Now, again, like I said, nothing sexual actually happened, but it was definitely completely inappropriate. And it wasn't because he didn't try to have sex with me. Okay. I just was a different type of girl, even back then, that I was strong willed and I'm a dom. Like, you don't get to tell me when we have sex. I'll tell you. So, anyway, um, but we never had sex. But I was 40 before I would ask him, why was he at the schoolyard? And he said, because I liked young girls. He literally said that to me. I liked young girls. And so I was looking for a girlfriend and I met you. And I was disgusted. I'm still disgusted. He's actually married to somebody that's 20 something right now. And I'm over 40. So that means he's way over 40, right? So it's disgusting, and he's had this behavior all that time, and uh, so I'm saying that because there are so many predators in our communities, not black communities, I'm saying period, in our communities, because, again, the Harvey Weinsteins didn't just pop up when he got rich. That dude probably been disgusting and, grooming people ever since, for the last 60 years or whatever. So, their predators are out there. And the facts are that a child's brain doesn't even fully develop enough to handle emotional decisions. This is scientific. You can look it up, Google it, go to WebMD. You can call your own damn doctor and ask them. But they don't develop enough to handle emotional decisions even until between the ages of 18 and 21. So if I'm 13, I'm looking at the candy bar or the taffy apple or the $20, whatever the lure was, for me and this guy, it was, he was popular, everybody liked him, and he was like the local celebrity. When he walked in a factory, he would get in free. So of course I want to go. I ain't got no business in there. They're supposed to be 16 to get in there, but you know, I was excited. I'm going to the factory with the dude that danced the best. He in the biggest dance crew on my side of town. And so the factory was the name of the teen spot, by the way. But so but his behavior was, like I said, largely inappropriate. And of course, I'm not absolving myself from I ain't had no business, and I definitely should have told my dad, but I didn't because I was 13 and I was excited about having this attention. And um, like I said, it didn't progress to the point where anything happened that I did not um, consent to. But knowing what I know now, obviously, I never would have given that guy, the opportunity to even walk me home because that really is disgusting. And I'm tripping because I lived in a really tight community, so I'm pretty sure other people had told my dad that this guy was walking around with me, and I was at his house because um, our community was really tight, and everybody knew that my house, everybody in it was like off limits for the stuff that happened on the street, right? So, but anyway, I these are I can't even get it out. Um, our young people are subjected to so much craziness. The the bare minimum that we should be doing is making sure that we're rooting for them to be protected, that we want them to be protected, that we're telling them that they are protected, and we're treating them like they matter to us and they are protected. And we don't do that. We are doing the opposite of that when we're calling them liars or fast tail girls or lying little boys or abusing them for telling their truth. It's not okay. The minimal thing that the most basic thing you can do is have an opinion about something, but the best thing you can do is do something about it. And that's my intimate conversations with King Kitty today. And like always, I want you to hashtag get you some, but legally, okay? Nobody under 18. I'll see you next time. Bye.